Hey YouTube, so I got another story. This story I actually ran across last week, but I wasn't able to get a video out yet, and there has been an update on this video. So let me bring you the case of Carlos Fernandez. He was a 12-year-old boy. He lived in Harris County, Texas. So unfortunately, Carlos was shot and killed by his mom's ex-boyfriend. His name is Terry Rivera. He's 27 years old. So the update on this case, well, let me go ahead and do the background. So let me pull up my notes. And so the background on this story is that the murder happened on last Monday, and then the Friday before that Monday, there was a domestic violence incident between Terry, the mother's ex-boyfriend, and the mother, Carlos's mother. So there was a situation where he was in the home and he assaulted the mother and had a gun. The police was called, but about time the police got to the location, the ex-boyfriend was no longer there. It is said that in a press conference that the sheriff department did not file any charges on the ex-boyfriend because although there was a gun, he had a gun, he did not point the gun at the mother. So that's why there was no arrest or charges brought up on the Friday of the domestic violence incident. Now, keep in mind that Terry, the ex-boyfriend, is also the father of the mother's two younger daughters. So Carlos's two youngest sisters, that's their dad. They're 7 and 9, I believe. 7-year-olds and 9-year-old. Now, that's their dad. So I'm assuming that at one point the Terry lived in the same household with all of them. That's what I'm assuming. So he has, some type of relationship with Carlos, whether it was just a stepdad, stepson type of dynamic, or if I'm not sure if the mother has been broken up with the ex-boyfriend for a long time. That, those details is not very clear. So who knows how long they've been exes, if this is a recent breakup or if it's been years and it was kind of like he was her baby daddy type of thing. And so that was the Friday incident. And then that Monday, that is when the tragic incident happened where Carlos was shot by Terry. So at the apartments, the boy, Carlos, and his two young sisters, they all slept in the same room. So during that night of Monday, the ex-boyfriend, which is the father of his two siblings, broke into the house through the window. So he was lifting up the window, and I got two conflicting stories on this. So the first one is that the ex-boyfriend was trying to get into the house through the window, and while he was lifting it up, Carlos kind of got up and then he was shot. And then there's the other story is that the ex-boyfriend was trying to get into the house through the window and just started shooting and hit Carlos while he was sleeping. So it's just two different stories. Like I said, I don't know the details of how long the mother and the ex-boyfriend have been broken up, but I'm sure at some point he was in the home, so he would know the sleeping arrangements of the kids. So he would know like what direction it was that he could hit the little boy, or even if he was evil enough to even hit one of his own biological children to get back at the mother. So that might have been his MO. Let me break in through the kids' window, shoot one of the kids, and then to get back at the mother, because apparently she had blocked his phone calls. And that's really what's triggering all of this outrage from him, and this aggressiveness from him was that she had blocked his phone number. So that's why he had came to the home on Friday, assaulted her, and then came back again, because he was kind of going crazy, like, why does she answer my phone calls? And in one interview, there was a neighbor who said that he was so obsessed with her. He was so obsessed with the mother, and so he was really probably just going through, like, he couldn't believe that the mother wasn't answering the calls anymore, giving him any type of attention. So he had to come and shoot the children, whether it was one of his biological children or, Carlos. But it's really sad that he shot his daughter's older brother. It's really sad. And then also is being alleged that the mother was receiving blocked calls from a blocked number, and we're all assuming that that was the ex-boyfriend calling her, maybe to apologize, or maybe to just go on an even more verbal rampage or verbal abuse. We won't know, but it's really odd that she was getting blocked calls, and so that's pretty much the story. Tragically, Carlos was killed by Terry. And a lot of people are saying, well, why wasn't he arrested on Friday when that incident happened? This is a DV situation. And we all know DV cases can be very complicated, even when you get the police involved. Because like the police said in the press conference, yeah, they were called. And when they came to location, the suspect wasn't there. But even though he did assault the mother, the gun was not pointed at the mother, so that's why they didn't press any charges. If they would have pressed charges or been able to arrest him, he wouldn't have been out. Maybe we could have saved the little boy from being killed. But with DV, even when they do prosecute for it, they don't get that much time most of the time, at least from what I see, especially in the stories and the news. But it's, again, the system cannot save you from domestic violence. Even when you put a restraining order, that doesn't stop people who are deranged in their mind to come and attack you. A restraining order is not going to keep them from stalking you. Even when you call the police, they might drive away before the police come. So it's just really, you have to be 10 steps ahead of the abuser, and you always have to just remove yourself completely from the situation, because there's no other way. The police cannot save you. As you can see, they called the police, and then by the time the police came, he left. So it's a very, very, very serious and dangerous situation. Domestic violence, it can lead to death. And if it's not the death of the actual victim, it's the victim's children, like in this case. So the update with this case is that Terry Rivera was arrested. He was arrested this Monday at Gateway International Bridge at the border between the United States and Mexico. He was crossing back into the U.S. from Mexico after being on the run for a week. So he crossed over into Mexico, hid out, and then was coming back into the U.S. and got arrested. So I'm happy that they were able to recognize who he was and was able to arrest him right then and there. Rivera's mother, Alva Cornejo, was arrested as well and charged with hindering apprehension or prosecution, accused of helping Rivera run from authorities. So his mother actually text someone to come pick Terry up that night of the murder. So he had confessed to his mother what had happened, and she had reported that she told him to turn himself in. Later on, the authorities was able to find out that she had actually text someone to come pick her son up to help him evade arrest. And the mother also searched how to get to the Mexican border. So his mother was helping him get away from the murder that he had just done. That she basically was helping him get away with murder for a 12-year-old innocent little boy. Now, this case, initially when I saw it, it hit me real bad, because it's like another case, same case, different people. But this one had a heightened level of domestic violence, where they actually reported the domestic violence incident and then nothing was done. Most of the time, the domestic violence isn't even reported. So this time they actually went ahead and did the right thing and reported the domestic violence, but the police was not able to help. The police was not able to keep the murderer away, because if he was locked up, he would never been able to go to the house on Monday and murder the boy. But hindsight is always 20/20, but it's just always good to show that domestic violence can be very, very dangerous, and that you have to be careful of who you bring around your kids. Because this man, if you would look at the ex-boyfriend, you could see that he's not a good guy. Like, he looks like he's up to something. He looks like a bad guy. So it's just sad that Carlos' life had to end so early and so senselessly. He was just going to sleep with his sisters, and according to one report, he was actually protecting his little sisters from their dad when he was breaking in. So he's just been very brave. And even the mom, in her interview, she came out and was saying how Carlos helped her learn how to block calls, because even prior to the murder, she was receiving calls from a blocked number. Her ex-boyfriend, obviously, losing control of her and trying to get in contact with her. And Carlos was just always brave enough to stand up for his family. So he has been through a lot at that age, seeing what his mother was going through. He has been buried. He had his funeral, and he's been laid to rest. So hopefully now that Terry has been arrested and he has a $2 million bond, he can go ahead and get sentenced. They say that due to like a state measure, he's not able to qualify for the death penalty, but I hope that he's at least given life or some type of harsh punishment for the senseless murder that he did. And even his mother helping him with getting away with murdering a 12-year-old is just real sad. And to know that 12-year-old is actually the big brother to your granddaughters, that's really sick. So yeah, once we hear any updates, we'll go ahead and make a new video, or go ahead and let me know. It's just same story, different people. It's sad, but we just got to keep reporting on it. And there's so many kids that are being killed at the hands of their parents, or the people the parents allow around them. It's really sad, but I'll continue to keep you guys updated. Bye-bye.